A lot of disappointed fans in Cleveland this morning. Baker Mayfield and the Browns watched a 2-touchdown lead slowly slip away against the Seahawks yesterday. Late in the fourth, Baker had an opportunity to reclaim the lead. Instead, though, he threw his third interception of the afternoon and never got the ball back. The Browns dropped to 2-4 with the loss. Shannon, how much of the blame does Baker deserve on this one?
He deserves a lot of the blame. I think 90% of the blame has to go on him, Skip Bayless, because here's the thing. What he was known for in college, Skip, with his pinpoint accuracy and his ability to protect the football. Skip dubbed him the careful gambler. He will take risks, but he didn't put the ball in harm's way. In 40 games at the University of Oklahoma, he had 21 interceptions and 24 turnovers. In 20 NFL games, he has 25 INTs and 29 total turnovers. So in half the amount of time, he has more turnovers. Skip, I'm going to show you something that yesterday, and this is what the problem that I'm seeing from Baker Mayfield. Not only the turnovers, but the inaccuracy of him throwing the football. He's late. Odell Beckham is as good a route runner we have in the NFL.
I don't know about that, but go ahead.
Skip, trust me. When he runs this speed out, look at this. You see that? Amari Cooper dropped that, led to a pick. You see what I'm saying right here? Now, you think that's twice. That's the second time. Behind him again. You see what I'm seeing, Skip Bayless? That's behind him. Now, you tell me the guy's pinpoint accuracy. That's what he's known for.
I told you that before he was drafted.
We're not seeing that now. Both interceptions, the one in the end zone to Landry, the one to close out the game, late and behind. You got to do a better job. Look at this, Skip. You can't have this. I believe, Skip, if they score a touchdown here, this is the coup de grace. This is the fatal blow that's going to take Seattle out.
Yep.
But touchback, Seattle goes on to win the game. You can't have this. You can't play. He can't play. Now, remember, he laid a stinker on Monday night, Skip. He follows that up with another stinker.
He had a QBR of 1 on Monday night.
So
8 of 22, I think it was.
And, you know, I was like, hold on, is he forcing the ball? He's not forcing the ball to Odell. Odell is open. He's just missing him. And then you got Nick Chubb running the ball, Skip, 20 carries for $122. But they only had 24 rush attempts for 157, 6.5 on attempt, 3 touchdowns. Skip, Baker has to be better, Skip. And you can't blame his offensive line. 0 sacks, 0 hits. What more can you ask for if you're a quarterback? You're throwing to Odell, who's wide open. You can run the football. The quarterback, they ain't nobody touched you. You didn't get knocked. Nobody touched you. And you got 3 turnovers again. You see the TD rate is coming down where the turnover rate is going up. That's not a good combination. Skip, he said keep that same energy, you know, because, you know, when things go good, oh, he a front runner. Skip, you know, Skip hate front runner because he said, my guy, LeBron James is the biggest front runner ever created. I'm starting to see old Baker because I don't see that same energy. I see a low energy guy when things not going well, Skip. You notice that? Because when he beat Lamar Jackson, when they beat Baltimore in Baltimore, he want that same energy. I hadn't heard him mention the word energy in 3 weeks. Wonder why that is.
Interesting. So, speaking of front runners, after I said that I would take Baker #1 overall in the draft, and he did go #1 to Cleveland, then he started to play when he finally got his chance, and he started lighting the league up, and he set the league on fire. Somebody sitting across from me tried to co-opt my bandwagon and started driving my bandwagon down the stretch last year, the last 8 weeks this season. Shake and bake! Shake and bake! You remember that?
I like shake and bake.
Okay.
But Skip,
okay.
I got to call
now somebody jumped right off the bandwagon.
Skip, I got to call it like I see it.
Okay. Yeah. So do I. And I still love Baker Mayfield, but this is what I don't love. It seems to me, as I watch all those games every Sunday, heck, every Saturday for that matter, every commercial features Baker Mayfield, or so it seems. Am I right?
I'm noticing it too, Skip.
Would you believe that he filmed 20 different commercials for Progressive Insurance, that at home with Baker Mayfield in the stadium?
Yes.
There are 20 versions of that featuring his wife and all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
They're having a party up in the stands, and he's got to try to sweep up after picks up the game, the dirty sock, you know, that he finds. Okay, so there's 20 of those, which means they are bombarding the airwaves. It seems like every commercial break features at least one Baker. And I didn't even mention the Hulu has live sports, and he's got one of those. It's not as frequent as the Progressive, but between those two, wow. Then I read a story in The Athletic a couple days ago about the business of being Baker, and it's about his team, BRM. His initials are Baker Reagan Mayfield because his parents named him after Ronald Reagan. So Team BRM features some of his family members. They have 6 full-time employees. So it's become, you want to talk about a brand. Overnight, he became a brand at the end of the year.
Let me tell you how a brand can go belly up or bust.
I got it.
Stop winning.
I got it. You got to back it up.
Exactly.
So what did we see from Baker Mayfield last year? We saw him disrespected on Hard Knocks by Hugh Jackson, the former coach, who called him in and congratulated him for winning the backup quarterback spot over Drew Stanton.
Yep.
Okay? Called them both in. Congratulations, Baker. You're the first pick in the whole draft. He didn't say that, but you beat out Drew Stanton for the backup spot. And I can tell you, Baker did not love that.
No, of course not.
And when he finally got his shot, he was the classic underdog, because you know he plays best when he's the underdog with a big old chip on his shoulder. 2-time walk-on who won the Heisman at the University of Oklahoma. Watch this, I'll show you, Hugh. And he even pointed him and stared him down at Cincinnati after Hugh had gotten fired and joined, was it Marvin Lewis's staff?
Cincinnati.
So he lit up the league.
He did.
And he did not have Odell to worry about. And now I do think, even though Jarvis campaigned last week for Baker to force the ball to Odell, and you can make the case that Odell does get open, but he threw him 11 balls yesterday, and he caught 6 for 101 yards. So he finally had a 100-yard game as a Cleveland Brown.
Yeah. The second one, because remember he had against the Jets.
That's against the Jets. But then Nick Chubb had another pretty big game. He had 122. So you got your number one receiver with over 100. You got your running back going over 100, 122, and you lost. Yet the first 3 times you had the ball, you went boom, 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 and scored 3 straight touchdowns. And one of them, Baker just broke loose on, I think it was about a 15-yard scramble up the middle. Russell Wilson had just had one. He said, okay, I can do it too.
Right. Yep.
And Baker can run a little bit. Yeah. And it looked like Baker. It looked like the guy that we saw at Baltimore throw for 342. It looked like he was on his way to another big game like he had against Lamar Jackson.
Right.
And then to your point, what started happening? He's pressing, he's forcing, he's pushing, he's trying to get the ball to Odell. He's getting too fine. He's not trusting himself anymore because he's not used to being the overdog, as I call it. You know, what do you say about expectations?
That's it.
Well, they're killing Baker Mayfield because he's not comfortable in this role, because every game, they're expecting, okay, is this the game you're going to explode? Is this it?
Because, Skip, with what transpired in Pittsburgh, Le'Veon's no longer there. AB. And, you know, Ben, okay, what's going to happen there? And then we saw Cincinnati. We knew Cincinnati was going to be Cincinnati. Okay, well, how good is Lamar? We know he can run, but can he be able to throw the ball? So this was their division for the taking.
It was.
And then Skip.
It might still be.
Skip, MVP talk. That's what it was.
Well, didn't he go to the top of
the money is coming in on Baker.
Jersey was the number one.
Yes. And so now you talk about expectations, but all Baker has to do, Skip, is just trust. Okay,
so what happened yesterday? He winds up throwing 3 picks. They also got a punt blocked, which is like a turnover, right?
Yes.
And Nick Chubb lost a fumble. So that's 5 blunders, right?
Yes.
Well, you can't blunder 5 times against Seattle and win the game.
No.
You're not going to. I promise you, they're just too good and they're too well coached, and Russell is too careful with the ball.
Skip, Russell Wilson's unbelievable.
Yeah. To me, he's the MVP.
Yeah, Skip, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at him, he's really never had a Julio or a top flight receiver, but all he does.
I love Tyler Lockett. I think he's really good. He's just little, but.
But Carson.
No. He's beasting, man.
And Russell, he just finds a way to throw. Skip, that throw that that 7 route that he threw, the corner. I forget the guy who scored that touchdown. It was Moore. Brown. Got hit right in his chops.
He did.
I mean, to be a quarterback, if you want to be that guy, sometimes you got to look down the gun barrel and it's coming. And he got hit and he stood in there. He didn't even see it. All he did was when he rolled over, he started pounding like,
I agree.
That's what you need.
And Russell even lost his new favorite target, who's that tight end Disley. And I think he tore his Achilles. And it looked like it to me. God bless him.
And that kid, Metcalf, he's a monster.
He's a monster.
He's a monster.
He's helping them.
Yes.
Okay. So what did Baker do? I agree. He's wild behind. And the worst throw, because they had a chance to go score at the end of the game, and this is where you got to be Baker.
Right.
Last year, he would have Martian right, but it's thrown to Rashard Higgins in Callaway. That's who, it was Ricky Seals-Jones. Throw to the lesser light guys because that's what Baker's more comfortable doing. And what's he do? He throws it behind. I think it was the backup running back. He throws it way behind him, and it gets tipped up, and KJ Wright, and that's it. That's the game. Can't do it.
Nope.
You just can't do it. So he is crumbling under expectations. And I told you after the third preseason game, the dress rehearsal, it looked like he was forcing like crazy because he was just wild high all night. So he is losing his accuracy because he's lost the chip on his shoulder. He's not the underdog anymore because when he's the underdog, he said after the game, I play better when I play mad. Well, there's nothing to be mad about this year because everybody thinks you're really good.
Well, he should be mad at the way he's playing. If he ain't mad about the way he's playing right now, Skip, I don't know what's going to get him out of this funk. Because Skip, if you really look at it, he's only really played good in one game. That was against Baltimore. He stunk it up against Tennessee. He stunk it up yesterday. He stunk it up on Monday night. He's been playing bad.
He has.
So with the exception of that one game in Baltimore, he hasn't been good this year.
Well, he's 23rd overall in QBR, so he's plummeted. But of course, if you have a 1 against San Francisco, you're going to be way down the line.
Unless you got a 500, you throw a 1 in there, you falling out of the top 10.
That'll pretty much do you in.
Exactly. But Skip, he has to be better. They're good enough to be winning these games. When you can run the ball like they can run, and the talent, he just can't turn it over. I don't care how talented you are. You turn it over, you see what happened with the Patriots. As good as they are, they let the Giants make this a ball game because of what? Turnovers. You turn it over, teams will get you.
So I watched a Pittsburgh team last night that is really talented. And Devin Bush, I told you, was the steal of the first round. I told you that the day after, the Monday after the draft. Or maybe the Friday after the Thursday night round. But he is electrifying that defense. If they had a healthy Ben Roethlisberger, if they'd had him from the start, it looked like he'd torn some ligament in his elbow from training camp on, man, they'd be the team to beat in this division. But right now,